Hey everybody, welcome back to Roadside Nuggets. I'm sorry, I muted it for a moment and then I unmuted it. Still getting used to Telegram. So, good morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone wherever you are in the world. We love you all and are so very grateful and appreciative to everyone who is standing up in these moments, pushing world disclosure, full disclosure, planetary ascension, humanitarian ascension, every single thing that is the biggest priority at this point on the planet that ironically nobody on the planet seems to know. So thank you everyone who is actively paying attention, who is focusing themselves and centering themselves as we go through this massive global process that whether you are aware in the beginning or you become aware towards the end of it, it does not matter. It's a process that's already underway. We are already integrated with the process and it is taking its course. So thank you again to everyone who is awake, waking up, stepping up, getting their balls and learning to use their voice and speak out in the things that they have been suffering through their whole life, right? We got to get to that point, humanity. When is it going to be enough for you? I remember that my higher self definitely was, in a lower way, I would call it tantalizing. But of course, there's always a higher flip to everything. It's just what the ego sees it as because it's being inconvenienced. It's being pushed into the corner in the moment it doesn't want to be and having to face itself in order to transform. So the tantalizing I would always see as, definitely in a lot of ways, my higher self would always ask me these questions. Is this everything you really got? Is this all you're going to put out for it? Is this everything that you have lived to this point to do? Right? And there are these massive questions that irritate my soul because I know it's true, because I know they are absolutely 100% honest. And the angels don't hide or sugarcoat anything. They're completely transparent with you and real. And a lot of times I would say blunt, but it's just tough love. So, getting to this point where we ask ourselves, is this everything? Is this what I hoped for 10, 20, 30 years ago? Is this what I set out for in this long journey through life to accomplish and achieve for myself? Is this it? And of course, the answer is never going to be, in comparison to, the question. The answer is never going to be satisfying. The answer is never going to be, yes, I have achieved everything I set out to do from the moment I was born on this physical planet. No, we haven't. Right? And that thing irritates us to a very deep extent, and we are, I would say, suffocated, submerged under all this confusion and belief systems and judgments and opinions we have placed on ourselves and expectations that do not even exist in this reality. Yet somehow we're supposed to achieve them, and until that is done, we cannot be happy. Can you say an impossible dream without saying an impossible dream, humanity? Because that's exactly what that is, only it's not even a dream, it's in fantasy and delusion. Based off of pain and suffering and fear and paranoia, meant to drive you absolutely insane to the end of your days, only to reach the conclusion that you should have probably tried. You should have went with those choices. You should have trusted yourself. You should have believed more in yourself in this life that you had because now you don't know where you're going. Right? So many of us have reached that point in this life. And I cannot tell you as a young being in this human incarnation how much that irritates my ancient soul. Okay? Regardless of the experience that's not unlike mine, everyone's in unique experiences. As a young vessel, and as an ancient soul that is very, very aware of what's going on in this physical planet, to see beings give up, to see them play it small, to see them diminish every last good thing they have come to obtain in this life. And instead of improving on it, growing it, maturing it, expanding it into something greater and grander, they'd rather throw it away, diminish it, condescend it into something that's nothing, only to feel guilt and shame afterwards and feel like they're back at square one. They have nothing to add up to it. They have nothing to participate with. They're in the bottom of the depths, It's not actually true. It's not true at all. But where the human being believes they are in that experience until they can accept something higher and different for themselves. No one can tell them shit. Okay? And this is one of the issues on this planet, with humanity, with individual delusional will, that we think we have our own personal will in this experience when it's not. How we can get human beings to understand this concept, that you are not your own. You do not exist on an island. And the energies and thoughts and the actions and choices that you make affect every single thing outside yourself, whether you realize it instantly or not. It's a constant process. Everything is connected. Everything is one. And in this massive sea of confusion and dysfunction, we are going to reach that cherry on the top where we realize, oh, this is because I chose it. It's not going to be like, oh, well, now I know who to blame. Well, now I know who made my life shit. Now I know why I've been in suffering and misery my whole life. No, the actual answer is going to be like, oh, I chose this. You see, what humanity thinks is coming for them, what humanity thinks is part of their sovereignty and part of their scenario and them getting saved by God and all the creation, all of it's bullshit. It doesn't even exist, okay? This is all set up for the highest experience and lesson and teaching that when your expectations, when the predictions you have made do not add up and they do not come to manifest, there's going to be a certain moment where you realize, I'm probably wasting this energy. I'm probably not making the highest choice. There's probably higher energetics collectively on the move that if I do not align with those energetics, because they're based off of love and truth and transparency, if I'm not aligning with those, then I'm not supported by creation. I'm not supported by the very air I breathe, because I'm not choosing to be in unity with it. I'm not choosing to be connected to everything outside myself and internally. There's setbacks. There's conditions. There's limitations, boxes, walls, and vaults that we do not go into. We do not touch. We do not express this to people out in public. We do not say a word about this. We don't show it. What is that? Extra garbage? Bullshit? Things we carry around with an excuse and a reason and justification to make us feel like we're somebody or that we're doing something, when all we're really doing is suffering, trying to make it look good. Does that ring a bell for anybody? Let me say that again. Pretty much everyone, what we're doing is just suffering, trying to make it look good. We're not actually being real with ourselves. We're not actually being transparent and like, look, obviously, this hasn't changed in the last 5 years. So what are we really doing here? Is it really a game plan that we plan out 10, 15, 20 years and hope that by the time we reach that point, it will be so that we predicted? Fucking bullshit, man. What a waste of time. What a disappointment. You know? How about we just focus on right now? What can we apply right now? What can we, transition, process right now? Don't worry about 5 years from now. That's why humanity's gotten so good at putting things off. Procrastination. Oh, I'll do that another day. Oh, I'll do that on Fridays. Fridays are my good days. I have free days on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I don't work. I can do it those days. Why not do it Monday when you have to work? What is the issue where people constantly get into this concept in their mind where it's like linear project discipline with career, job, family, religion, all that? It's like, that's not discipline. First of all, who told you that was discipline? Okay? Having things to do, having obligations, having requirements that you have to fulfill every single day of your life to say that you're a human and you are a working participant in this society and community. What type of bullshit is that? And even at the end of the day, after we do all of that, what is it adding up to? What is it actually supporting and elevating? Nothing. Making more trouble, drama, problems that people go into control, paranoia, fear, anxiety about. So if we're on a downward, freaking rolling ball on a mountain and it's not stopping, obviously someone's going to say, wait, let's turn it around. Obviously we're not going the right direction, right? No, humanity's society and conformity is like, well, we have trouble, we have dramas, we have issues and things like that. We're going to go ahead and implement this and hope that it actually fixes the situation. In the meantime, for your safety, we're going to do this and this and this and that. You will have to comply, even though we love you and we are here to serve and support you as a population and humanity. As a decent citizen in this country, we will reserve your rights. However, in these pristine moments, we're going to have to take your rights away. And you're going to have to comply with exactly what we say. It's like, what? Like how do you go from one lane to the next lane that's like way over here and try to make it seem like it's the same thing? It's like, I'm confused. I'm very, very confused where people are listening and they're not registering what's being said. The outlook of that. They're not reflecting. Even after these debates, going to see fucking dysfunctional Mojo, I'm not even going to say his name, he'll probably censor me. The dysfunctional Mojo on the stage trying to be, the president of the country. It's like, listening to this dysfunction. What led you to vote for this man? What led you to ever believe or trust or invest your energy, your consciousness, your thoughts or ideas or your dreams of a better America, a better life for yourself, your family, your children, for the world? What in your soul led you to believe this was probably a highest choice? You didn't. Because everything based in that political scheme shit, hatred, judgment, opinion, comparison, linear tactics where we pull shit from 40, 30, 20 years ago, which we obviously know today that, you and I, we change. We can change every moment. Yet it serves and benefits us, though, when we want to attack somebody else. We pull shit from 20 years ago and try to throw it in their face, say, this is who you are. No, that's who I was 20 years ago. What's your issue? Are you stuck in 20 years ago? Do I need to go back 20 years and help you out? Is that what you're trying to share with me? Because it's quite confusing why people just want to let things go and bypass and deny and all this because it serves them. But the moment they get triggered or attached or in control about something, they want to pull the whole filing cabinet out and go back to the very first point all the way to the present and throw it all down your throat, trying to make you feel guilty and shameful about being a human being in this experience that absolutely does not know what's going on. Can someone say innocence to me? Because that's purely what it is innocence. Really not knowing better. Pretty much 8 billion people on this planet do not know what is actually going on. Yet, in this experience, where we're supposed to be working together, supposed to be supporting each other, loving each other, and learning how to grow with each other in our individual experiences, we spend the most time tearing each other down, trying to destroy each other's dreams and wishes, what we try to create from our own hands, the things that we hold on to after 40 years of giving up the rest of our life, and we have this small, little, beautiful, fragile thing that we're going to give another chance to. Nope, the ego's coming to steal that shit too, because it doesn't want you to be happy. You got to wake up, humanity. You got to realize that the passion inside of you is meant to be your shield, okay? If you can't get passionate about your life, about your existence in this reality, why you're here, the purpose of being here in the first place, the mission, everything you have to put on the table, to participate and exist with other beings that are co-creating on this earth for a new reality. If you have no passion, you have no fuel. You're dead. Period. The motivation, inspiration, all that ambition comes from passion. And if you do not have it, if you're not accessing it, if you do not trust your own passion, then you are dead. You have nothing to fuel you but gas. Little fragments of gas that we get little go out of. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go. Oh, burning out again. Short-circuiting. It's essentially what you are inviting into your experience and allowing to be a part of your life. Because you will not face yourself, the core part of your being that drives you in life, that makes you feel alive, that is the reason why you're even here in the first place. Do you feel alive? Do you walk outside in the day and breathe in the air and you're grateful to Mom for bringing it? The sunlight, the heat, everything, the wind, the ground you stand on, the clothes you wear on your back. Regardless if you went to the store and paid money for it or not, who put the money in your bank account in the first place? It wasn't you working, because who got you the job in the first place? It was God. From the start to the finish, God is in every single step, and she's part of every single process. If you forget that, if you leave her out, it will reach disaster for you. God is the answer for all, period. Love is the answer for all, period. If you exclude any one of those things, the equation cannot complete. And if you try to force it out of your own control and thinking you know better, you're going to reach a brink where you fall off the cliff and realize you should have been more patient, should have been more discerning, feel into it longer, trust more. You see? I have no idea why I'm even on this topic. The angels was like, all right, present moment, this is the highest. All right, we'll talk about it. So, again, got to gas yourself up, humanity, okay? Passion is the only thing that's going to drive you. It's going to keep you going through the days that are absolutely the shittiest days you've had in your life. That passion is going to fuel you. It's going to push you through. It's going to help you reach another cliff, okay? In the moments of this experience, when we jump cliffs and we jump through hoops, when we take a leap of faith, what there in that moment do you feel is going to propel you and fulfill you? Sorry, Mom. Until you reach the end of your destination. Passion, right? Because passion doesn't need to know everything. Passion doesn't need to have all the answers right now before passion ignites itself. Passion feels. Passion is present moment and is connected to all of life, that life force, creative sexual energy in your being that yearns to create, yearns to live, breathe, exist, touch, and feel, be alive. That's what passion really truly is. It's essential for every human being to tap into that source themselves and to realize what their passion is and what that even feels like. Because until you get pumped for this life of yours, you ain't getting pumped for the ascension for humanity. If you can't support one human being, what makes you think in the world you're going to be able to support 8 billion in that same process that you are going through? That's the truth. Yet we spend all this time in denial and bypassing that we waste so much time procrastinating. And then we get to the brink of it and we're like, oh shit, I got to do this and this and this. And then we want sympathy. We want enabling. We want people to take it easy on us, be lenient on us. No, you should have got your ass moving from the get-go when you realized it and applied yourself. Put effort in. Let it matter to yourself. This is the depravity humanity falls into. Because humanity doesn't know how to push for themselves, how to fight for themselves, how to speak up for themselves. So they get to these points where they realize, this is the limit I have. And they quit. They walk away. They decide not to express, be real, or push. And they wait for somebody else to come and say and do and be the things that they so ultimately want to be inside, yet they have no confidence or balls to stand up and be that. So they wait for someone else to be that reflection. And then they feel okay to be a part of it. Why can't you start something? Why can't you step out on your own 2 feet and realize that God is everything? And if you are a part of God, then you are a part of God. There's nothing in between to separate that. So what you say, how you feel, everything in your life, your experience, where you are going and how you are growing right now, it all matters. Quit diminishing yourselves. Quit putting yourself in a box, making yourself seem like something less. You're born for greater things than that. Every single one of you, from the worst cabal member on this freaking planet to the most fucking loving divine person, if there is one on this physical planet, besides Mom. Period. Everyone is stuck in the same unity experience, and all the spectrums, all the frequencies, all the density, every single energetic in this world you can possibly imagine is matched, embodied, currently transforming and processing through some vessel on this planet through the 8 billion people. Do you allow yourself to even conceive those thoughts every day? Or do you diminish yourself and keep yourself in this small box? My life, my job, my children, my dog, my house, my car, my bills, my taxes. You see how that goes on? Mine, 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 mine. The moment you just say, fuck this, and let it go, and realize you are for the world. Humanity is created for each other. Okay? You're not created for one person, to be with one person for the rest of your life, to marry and get old together, and you can never be with anyone else. You can never experience anything outside of your life without that person. This is the control, this is the Stockholm Syndrome bullshit that gets people to quit life, gets them to quit living for themselves, quit progressing themselves, learning who they are, because they settle for external. They settle for exterior materialistic things that they can buy time with, stall time, procrastinate, escape, evade, go aloof with. Feeling all this time that they could be making corrections and healing themselves and loving themselves and others back into wholeness, yet they would waste these moments. And to the point where the energy now comes up and it's like, look, there are no more moments. You got to get this now. Then the spin happens, the anxiety, the paranoia, like, oh, poor me. Look at me in my life. I'm going crazy. Help me. You had all this time to help yourself and you didn't choose that. Now, in these crunch times, you want someone else to do it for you. You see how that works? This is where so much of humanity gets wrapped up into, where it goes into helplessness, goes into unworthiness, disempowerment, where we don't feel like we can step up on our own and do things, say things, and make choices. We need someone to tell us that it's okay. We need someone to show us 5 million times before we decide that we're comfortable and trusting of ourselves to the same emotions. It's ridiculous. Spending your life, that much time, on hysteria and despair, not knowing, not understanding. Instead of just taking the leap and trusting in love and God and realizing that it's already laid out and planned for you, the only one that's playing against you is your ego, trying to keep you in distrust and doubt. Okay? Let me say that one more time. The only one who is playing against you is your ego in distrust and doubt in everything. Making you feel like you're alone. Making you feel like you have to figure it out alone. Making you feel like you have to go through it alone without anyone. What a horse load of shit. The biggest lie. And there's so many biggest lies. You know, that's how big they are. Lies that most of this population is accepted not only for a year, generations, centuries. Allowing it to prolong and no one's saying anything, no one's stopping it, no one like, look, this is a bit redundant. Okay? We don't live that long, obviously. And yet the same issue that keeps passing around generations hasn't seemed to resolve itself. So is it really the people on this planet? Is it really the generations? Or is it something else infecting the population as a whole? Interesting questions. Who's asking those, right? I have a cool video I wanted to share. I'm just gonna find it real quick. Oh no, where did that go? Oh no. That's weird. It's like I'm pretty sure I put this on here. I had a video, I uploaded all these videos before, and it doesn't look like it's on here yet. Okay, they moved. Thank you, angels. So we're gonna play this video real quick. I just thought it was pretty hilarious. You know, it's like, you know, I love to go back and listen to what people say before and then like see their actions afterwards and see if they add up, because most of the time they don't. It's really, really funny. But yeah, here's Pelosi talking crap, lies.
So here's the thing. We cannot require someone to be vaccinated. That's just not what we can do. It is a matter of privacy to know who is or who isn't. I can't go to the Capitol physician and say, give me the names of people who aren't vaccinated so I can go encourage them to, or make it known to others to encourage them to be vaccinated. So we can't do that. So here's the
I'm quite confused because everything that seems to be going on in the world, even in this country, doesn't seem to be adding up with that. It's like you can't force someone to be vaccinated. You can't require someone to be like, but what are we doing though? So it's like this is like a great analogy, a great example for humanity where like we say one thing, yet we are not doing the same thing. We say we believe in these things, we say we trust these things, we say we live religiously by these things, yet you look at the life, maybe that's just a Friday thing for you, but you kind of were dramatic and said that it was a lifestyle for you when it really wasn't, right? The integrity with what you are saying and what you are doing has got to add up and line up 100% in alignment. If it's not, we have a manipulation and deception going on, ladies and gentlemen, and most of the time it's ourself doing it to ourself, right? So, you can listen to all this amazing awareness and truth, yet at the same time, you have to choose it. You have to follow through with it and apply it in your actions in your life. If you're not, you're basically just like a sponge. You're just soaking up information for nothing. You're not going to do anything with it. You're not going to live by it or apply it to yourself to benefit your life. You're just a black hole, right? I hate black holes. God does not like black holes. It's like, do something for once in your life that has nothing to do with anyone else but to love yourself and this life you were given, right? Can you at least dig out a little bit of appreciation for that, at least? And these are the things like when she's like we can't do this and this and that. And then this was like in April 2021, right? We're at this point in the year, it's like, what are they doing? Mandatory vaccinations, basically squeezing the population, the economy to the point where it's like, if you don't have a vaccine, you can't get food, you can't get this and that. It's like, to me, it seems like you're not really giving people a choice. To me, even though you're not going into people's houses and asking like, are you vaccinated? It seems like you're doing the same thing on a bigger picture that covers the whole population. In other countries, they don't even have a choice. They're being forced to. So I'm concerned now at this point. If we have elected leaders that we pay, taxes to, oh no. Something happened. One moment. Gotta plug something in. I think the phone might have died, maybe. I'm not sure. Oh, technology. We will get there at some point. In reality, at some point in life. Alright. So, that's not gonna work. One moment. Alright, so until the phone is actually charging, we're going to be on this one for a moment. So, angels, what was I talking about? So, like with the whole contrast thing, with like humanity not aligning up with what they are actually saying, 100%. These are the things that contradict many of our experiences afterwards. Since manifestation is still happening semi-slowly in a lot of ways, humanity hasn't caught up with understanding that their choices and everything are actively in every moment dictating their experience, right? So as we move through this experience and everything starts speeding up more and more and more, we get to the point where we realize that it's going to condense our reality. When our reality condenses, things will manifest much more faster and instantly. Therefore, hence, Mom's very adamant about us getting, in the heart. Get out of the thought system. Stop thinking random, rampant thoughts all day long, allowing that to take your energy and also take your focus into things that have nothing to do with where you are relatively at in this moment. Okay? It's a waste of energy. It's a sabotage and manipulation to hijack your energy and to put it into something else that does not serve you right now. Okay? So we're getting to the point in humanity where like we have to come to the realization is like, who has the power? Is it you or is it your country? Is it your government? Is it the people that have authority over you? Is it your parents? Is it your spouse? Who has the authority? It should be you. If you don't have the authority, something's missing. It's a red flag automatically, okay? So we gotta pull ourselves back, realize, okay, where did God put all the magic at? I'm gonna check this one real quick. And realize that everything is already complete in its creation. When mom creates things, when she pushes things out, when she, develops or goes into a process, she goes through the whole thing. Mom is not a half-ass. God, 100% all the time, is always in integrity. Therefore, she finishes every single process. She finishes every single idea and transforms it to the highest, right? So where we as half-ass human beings fall off the bike all the time, where we don't care, we don't focus, we don't pay enough attention to these things, God is already there. She's already mastered and skilled, to a point where it's like, okay, humanity, you are the ones that are lollygagging behind. Okay, sweet. Camera's on. And we have to get to the point where I know I keep saying we have to get real with ourselves and everything, but there's so many layers of that. Humanity doesn't know how to be real with themselves. And this is one of the biggest diseases on the planet, where we have spent so much time in an alternate reality, meaning delusion, fantasy, projection, escapism, aloofness, all those different things that we have filled our life with, that got us from one moment to the next. But at the same time, we had no idea what we were doing in those moments. It may have passed the time. It may have allowed you to be procrastinated. It may have allowed you to put things on the back burner for a long time. However, not realizing that all that energy is still your responsibility, and there is a marker, due date, that comes up at some point, where if you have not moved through that energy, it's coming all up at once. And there it's on your plate. You can't do anything about it, right? It's really like dealing with a child too. It's like you tell a child something 1,000,000 times, but until they go through the experience, a lot of times they won't understand it and why, which is totally necessary and highest for them to go through that development. We must surrender, allow our children to do that. But even for yourself, okay? Don't realize how hard you've been on your life because everybody else has been doing it. So it doesn't compute, it doesn't hit you the same way. It doesn't connect in your brain until you have the actual opposite experience. And you're like, you know what? This is a whole lot better. I feel a whole lot better going through this experience versus the other one, right? But for you to understand that, you have to go through the experience to taste and feel it to understand. Thus, the experience for everyone on this planet, all 8 billion people, they're about to go through quite some interesting moments, because for us to be real with ourselves and actually get things underway, dissolve them and transform them, you got to know what you're dealing with. There is no job, there's nothing you can do in this life where you go to work and you're like, they tell you to fix something, they tell you to this is your job today, but you don't understand. It's like you don't have a cause. There's always a cause. There's always a reason for, right? You don't just go to work just to work, right? There's a cause. There's a reason. There's a demand of some sort. There's resources moving and everything like that. Someone has to manage them. There's always a cause. Are you looking at your cause for your life? Your cause for living? Your cause for breathing every day? Your cause for getting up out of that damn bed? Are you looking at the cause for that every day? Or are you just on repeat? Are you a broken record, just doing the same motions every single day, but you're really just not there? Are you a hollow, empty shell, or are you actually a living soul in a body? At some point, your life choices are going to have to match that. You can't keep saying this, Arcturian, Pleiadian, Andromedan, all this, and other worlds and all this, yet your life and humanity is shit. Your energetics are shit. How you are treating yourself and other people is shit. Okay? These two do not match vibrationally in any way, shape, or form. So if you are lying to yourself, if you are manipulating yourself into some delusion thinking you are something and you don't have to live it, absolute 100% fantasy. This might sound a little hard, but this is absolute tough love because you gotta understand this. You gotta break free from yourself in this anxiety, fear, doubtful state that you have created for yourself that it's just gonna be. No, it's not. It doesn't have to be. Every single human being on this planet was created beautiful, divine, bright, and glistening in all the glory of God. It's you who forgot that. You are the one that sold pieces of your divinity for bullshit. And you are also the one that has to go back through the mess, clean it up, accept that you made these choices regardless of where you were. It doesn't matter. Forgive yourself. It's not about trying to be right. And it's definitely certainly not about being right with yourself. That's an endless game that will never end. Period. Trying to prove a point to yourself. Are you kidding me? You might as well die right now because you'll never see the end of that battle with yourself where you reach a conclusion and realize, oh, okay. No, it's stupid. It's just the ego trying to create a dynamic for yourself to keep you distracted from what actually truly matters. Period. All right. Really good video I'm going to show you all. I'm very happy the camera's working now. So stay tuned for this one moment. And here we go.
If people don't want to be scammed, first of all, they have to get informed and they have to stop getting all their perceptions from the mainstream media. When you step back from mainstream sources and you look at alternative sources where narratives are being questioned instead of parroted and repeated, then you can start to see how the dots connect. What is happening that is the point of revelatory understanding. It's why it's happening. See, what's missing is context. You know, the mainstream media will tell you that something's happening. They won't tell you accurately, unbiasedly, why it's happening. I have this phrase, know the outcome and you'll see the journey. If you don't know where the world's being taken and who by, and the techniques of manipulation that take us there, then the world is a random place. You look at a newspaper and you look at the news or whatever, and lots of random things are happening. From that perspective of perceptual randomness, to make sense of the world, not going to do it. When you know where the world's being taken, you know basically who's taking us there, why, and the techniques of manipulation to take us there, suddenly randomness disappears, because what is random to most people becomes a very clear sequence of events that is taking us in a very obvious direction towards the outcome. One of the expressions, and very relevant to today, of this mind control, what they call trauma-based mind control, is that when someone's traumatized, in a state of anxiety, in a state of fear, they become massively suggestible. This is why they use trauma as part of the mind programming. So what they're doing to humanity as a whole is producing reasons to fear, reasons for trauma, reasons for anxiety. And when they've manipulated people into those states, they then put the mind control suggestions in there of that change perception. This cult is not really targeting the conscious mind overwhelmingly. It's targeting the subconscious mind, which then filters through to become conscious perception. They put the suggestions in and change people's psyche. What's happened is that so many people in the last few months have been put under a hypnotic spell. And indeed, people are put through a hypnotic spell their entire lives. You go through the education system and then into the world of, where the media is telling you everything. It's a hypnotic spell that's being cast on the human race. And when people talk about people waking up, what does that mean? It means they wake up from the trance. They wake up from the spell. And so I meet so many people because of what I do. And what do they say? I woke up. It's exactly what happens. When you can put out information that's putting a different angle on everything, what you're doing is breaking the spell, because the spell is basically all that anyone's ever heard. All mainstream sources, they're all sources of the spell. And when people hear other sources of information and other ways of looking at the world, it breaks the spell. And people say, I woke up. Yeah, you woke up from the trance that you've basically been put in since the day you were born.
Wow, man. There's so many points of that that were so, so very true, and like I liked what he said about, like, you know, the spell, you know, and basically the spell, the illusion, the Maya that everybody exists under in this grand illusion is everything that everyone's ever heard. It literally is all the bedtime stories, all the fairy tales, all the myths, the taboos, the do's, the don'ts, the rules and why those rules are there. Every single thing. It's just because everyone's always heard it. They've heard it from childhood to their adulthood. And since they've repeated it back to the children grow up saying it, so it just keeps continuing to the next generation. They've always heard this. Does not mean that it's true. It does not mean that it's real. It's just something that you've heard. This is a massive misconception with the collective. Something so simple like this, that is so easily missed, yet billions and billions of people on this planet are caught up in its net and don't even realize it. That's how quick, that's how vast this network of dysfunction has been layered through our existence as humanity and our reality, living human life and what that is for us, and why this even exists in the midst of it. Because it's always what we've always heard. So it's always what we've always told each other. It's always what we've always believed in. Not one moment in any of that says that it's actually true or real. That's just what we believed. Which is a massive change and shift now, because it's like, okay, we might have hit a very, very big error. So if you're telling me all this energy and everything, population, hands, everything is going into all of this, and we got so far down the line to this, and now you're telling me that it's not even the right direction? It takes a lot of balls to accept that, to trust that, and realize that, yeah, could I have been wrong? Definitely. Could I have made a wrong turn somewhere in this life? Definitely. This life's been crazy. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend and act like I had the roadmap the whole way through. Nobody did. So if you're still trying to pretend that you're the silky clean guy or woman and there's nothing on you, there's probably a big red flag. You might take a big, big look at yourself, honestly. You can't get too far ahead of yourself. That's where accidents start happening, mistakes, right? You have to stay centered with yourself and move with your body. We understand that your consciousness is traveling very fast, eons, it's accelerating. And in many moments, if not all moments, your consciousness is always ahead of your physical body. However, in that, nowhere does it say, dismiss your physical body. Pride yourself off your consciousness and just bet everything on that. You are multidimensional. There's far more parts to yourself than just consciousness. Therefore, with the same consciousness that realizes nothing is separated, requires the same consciousness to actually attend to everything, care about everything, find purpose and meaning in everything. Not diminish some things, scoot some things to the corner, and just focus on the rest of it. Absolutely not. God never did that. She never did that to you or I. So why in the world would you ever think that was okay? It changes a lot of things when you blow up to the bigger picture. When you look at things from the bigger perspective, with God in it, it changes a lot of your answers you normally would choose and be so comfortable making. Now all of a sudden you're like, yeah, probably not. But why was it probably not before, all the 5 million times before? Because God wasn't in it. Love wasn't in it. It didn't matter to you. It wasn't the intention or the purpose. Now that it is, it changes everything. How you will go about doing it, what you will accept, and what you will push for in this reality in your life. It changes everything. Because it's based off of love, truth, transparency, real, whole, true, real reality. Love everywhere present. That basis and foundation secures everything that comes after. Because it's love. Now that we are moving into this experience and we are learning to shift everything over to this way of viewing things, living and applying, of course there's going to be a transition. We haven't always lived this way. We haven't always chosen these things for ourselves. Of course not. So that's the reason why there's a lot of dysfunctional shit in our life that we're still experiencing today, because these weren't the choices we made long ago. Now that it's in our lap, now that it's an opportunity and it's an ability to choose this now, the more beings that choose this, the more we're going to change the reality. Till we get to the point where we realize, I'm grateful. I'm so happy that I made that choice. I'm so happy that I chose this. I'm so happy that I pushed myself. I'm so happy that I kicked my ego's ass and I got moving. Because now the experience in life I'm living right now is because I made those choices in that moment. It has made me ever more grateful and appreciative of these moments now, because I was strong enough to make those choices back then that I absolutely didn't want to make. And I still made them. That's how strong I am. That's how strong you are. That's how strong all the people on this planet are when they choose that. When you choose that. Not before. Right? Okay, I love you all. We are getting towards the end of our stream time. There's one more video I wanted to play. As everyone is very, very aware, we are on 9/11. So definitely 9/11 has a lot of gravity and just weight, especially in this country, not only with mom and just energetics of what she pushed across this planet and what's happened on those dates, however, also with humanity's travesty and our dysfunctional misery and pain and suffering of what we have been going through in that experience as well with the ego. It's a massive merging of a lot of different things going on, a big portal date. We just had a 9/9 portal literally the other day, and now we're on September 11th, 9/11. 9/11 was when mom put the call out to the rest of the planets, and nobody was in their heart. Nobody was able to hear or feel mom put the call out on 9/11 back then, and they did not pick up. So we are here now in these moments of 2021 with the very few minority people that have woken up, have heard God's call, have connected with her, have reached out, have found her, whether it's on the website physically or whatnot else. This is where we're at. No matter what year we are in, no matter what month we are in, it does not change the gravity of where we are at and for what the reason is we are here. Right? And so even though humanity is going through many growths and developments, the pain and suffering is not something to throw under the rug and pretend like it's not happening. That's how we got further into our mess and misery with ourselves. It's how our life fell apart, if you look closely at yours. And these moments is about speaking out. It's about reharding ourselves of these moments we have gone through, the lessons and the experiences we have had already collectively and individually, and realizing we don't have to repeat them. We don't have to go through the same bullshit again. And at some point, it's going to build to a cap where the collective of humanity has no more room for it. We have no more patience for this. This gets fixed now. And it's going to come to that point in so many different lanes and areas and scenarios in the human experience in this planet in the coming very, very quick years. Of all these things that we've been living by, trusting and believing in, yet they don't serve or support us now, and yet they never did. We've been living under a lie, paying someone under the table for some shit that we never got. Let me say that again, that's really good. We've been living a lie, paying someone under the table for some shit that we never got. Does that sound like stealing to you? It sounds like stealing to me, right? However, we made the choice. We bought into it. We gave the money for it. We told ourselves every single day, yep, this is right, this is true, I believe it, yep. You invested into it. I invested into it. So who do we have to blame? Nobody. They were your own choices you made. Whether someone was being deceptive or manipulative or not doesn't change that. They still were in those frequencies. You still chose to give your power and your trust and your love away to a black hole. All of us did. So in that, it's not about blame. It's not about pointing a finger like, oh, well, you owe me money now and all this stuff. No, it's like, holy shit, I got to get better at discerning. Holy shit, I got to get better at feeling the truth, because if I keep doing this, I'm going to end up in a bigger mess. That's really the reality check of it all. It's for you. It's not for, the collective uprising and taking over the balls, like, oh, and putting them in chairs, like, you did this to me. It's like, no. You fully chose this. Whether you chose to inform yourself before or after or not at all, you made that choice. You have no one to blame for your misery. Take accountability. Take responsibility for it all. It is the quickest way to move along your way and heal yourself. If you don't want to do that and accept your responsibility in this, that is where you're going to stay for a very long moment. If you love yourself, you'll care enough to get yourself out of it. Honestly. However, back to the whole 9/11 thing, and there's many things that happen around the world, in those times, and also other moments along our very recent human years, where humanity has been told lies, stories. Lives have been taken and disasters have been made, all for the profit of money and for a stupid, bigger scenario, a scheme to sell to the billions of people on this planet. They're not fully aware what real reality is, what's actually going on. So it makes them easier to manipulate, easier to deceive with so many different things. This video is really, really powerful, and it really definitely hit home for me. I remember 9/11 that day, and that day definitely changed my life and many other people's lives on this planet, and especially in this country. The day that the Twin Towers were hit by the plane and all that stuff they were telling us, that was the day that, I was standing in the living room with my family, my father, and he was looking at the TV, and it was like this interesting face he had on. It was like he wasn't like shook, he wasn't like panicked or anything like that, like, oh, we're going to war. Like he just shook his head, nodded, like it was something he was waiting to produce itself, and then he knew how to go at that point. It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go over there to war now. It's like in my childlike consciousness, and I was like sitting there listening, and I'm like, this dude looks a little too comfortable, looks a little too chill about this whole Twin Tower thing, 9/11, all this stuff going on. He seems a little too put together, honestly. I mean, I don't expect someone to fall apart and flip out and cry they have to go to war, but at the same time, it's like, you see the same thing I'm seeing on the screen? Because, that fucking disturbs me. I don't know how you're like, we're going to have to go to war. It's like, you seem a little prepared for this, sir. Yeah. That's one of the things, with children, is like parents and people pride themselves so much they think children are going to forget things because they're so young. No. Those are the things that stick with you forever, and I can go back to those memories, replay, pause, rewind, go in, zoom out, all of it. This is very interesting. When I observed that moment in my life, I'm just like, you seem very put together, prepared for these kinds of scenarios on the TV, and before 9/11, that thing, stuff like that wasn't normal. Like Desert Storm and all that, it was big and mass, but it wasn't like this terrorist attack on America and all this different like that. So to take it that far, and then have people prepared, prepped, planned for this kind of thing to a point where it happened on TV and they already know what to do, it's like, bullshit, okay? Disaster on TV, if you already have a prep team for the disaster you were showing on TV, bullshit. Someone planned this, someone plotted it, it's predicted, it's expected. This is mutiny across humanity. Deception of the highest order, war treasons, war crimes against humanity, where you would dare lie and deceive people who are innocent, families, wives, children, and subject them to a reality experience of more pain and suffering and war because of profits, resources, things you want, a scenario you want the public to sell, but you want the public to buy, but you'll never sell it. That's really good. I'll repeat that. The scenario you want the public to buy, but they'll never sell it unless there's some kind of fear and pain involved to motivate the public to buy it. Does that make sense? They'll put out a lot of scare tactics and fear and things like that. Fear and pain to the biggest players that the cabal uses to motivate. I talked about this on the last live stream a couple of days ago, where most of humanity has learned through pain and suffering. That's their motivation. Humanity has gotten docile to the point where they only move, they only react, they only choose a choice because they're in pain, because they're suffering. It feels bad, they're miserable. This is the only receptor now in their being that triggers off, do something, change something, make a choice, panic, flip out, do something, right? But until that point, they sit there and suppress, don't say anything, suffocate, choke themselves, don't express some truth until they just blow up, right? Absolutely insane, complete insanity. But we're getting to the point where humanity is, it doesn't matter what you tell yourselves. It doesn't matter what you tell yourselves at nighttime to help you sleep better. It doesn't matter what you tell yourself in the morning time to get yourself out of bed, to handle your job and your duties and responsibilities for the day, only to do it all over again tomorrow morning, bright and early. When are you gonna live? You ever feel like you're like a drained battery about to go out completely? Like you're on the last leg. Anything else might just take you out. You know, if you are even at that point, it's like, what are you doing the same shit every single day? What are you doing living the same life every day? What are you doing serving and giving your energy to the same people every day? If that's how you feel. Are you waiting for someone to come save you? Right? No one's coming. This is your responsibility to carry yourself and to love yourself into wholeness. There was an interesting, actually before that, I want to play this video real quick for you all. One moment. And here we go.
It starts with a word. All I know. So unreal.
Oh no. Well, Telegram heard me, but the mic didn't. All right, so I'm sorry. That was probably from the last video. So if it was from the last video, then it wasn't that long. So thank you, whoever texted Hopi and let her know that the mic was on. Oh man, we're gonna get it, people. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get plugged in all lines. It's gonna be beautiful. So thank you all for joining us. We have live stream again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Mountain Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Time with that would be with Kat and Elle. So kudos to them, love them both, and then I will see you all tomorrow. Hopefully at around, and that's the thing. Like it was like a conversation today about the time frame with this and stuff, and I just don't know. Angels wanted to be earlier today. Usually I try to do around 5 or 6 Eastern Time because I feel it's more in the line with where everybody is in the day, getting off work and free time. So it's just gonna move around. You know, we'll find the right spot for it. But I appreciate all of you. Love you all. Did not have the other phone today to check the comments in the stream. There's something going on, and like I've said it before, but there's so many comments on the stream, and I don't see any of them until after I get off the stream and it completes and uploads. Then I see like everyone's comments, like Igor, Casey, and everybody's like, I don't see those at all during the entire stream. So it's not that I'm like dismissing you all or not, you know, saying hi, I love you, like that. It's just like I don't see them, you know. So we will figure it out. It's been a story as old as time itself, but we'll get it. All right. I love you all. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you tomorrow. Okay. Love you.